Alright, if you're watching this video, it's because you want something specific, and that something is to know how to win every night of FNaF in real time. Or maybe you're just curious, who knows? The point is that here, we're going to go over the mechanics and strategies to successfully avoid the animatronics, so let's not waste any time to begin with. It's obvious that this fan game is very similar to FNaF 1, of course, with some nice improvements in the animations and everything, but when it comes to mechanics, it's way too similar. If you've already played FNaF 1, it won't be hard for you. It features side lights and doors, plus the iconic security camera. These three tools depend on power, so it's best not to overuse them, because if you run out of battery, you'll lose control, and you'll be at their mercy. How much time does the game give you before your inevitable game over? Speaking a bit in depth, the lights help you see the animatronics at the doors. The doors themselves help you keep the animatronics out, and the cameras help you see where each animatronic is. Now moving on to talk about the animatronics themselves, we have Bonnie and Chica, and I'll mention them first because their important mechanics are very similar. They will be found in camera 1A, and they can move to 2A or 4A from there. They go to 2B or 4B, and then they'll reach your office after that. To spot them, use the light. If you see them, just close the door. Simple, right? If you take too long, you'll be brutally scared. If you do it right, you'll see them leave on camera 2A or 4A depending on which side they came from. It's very important to check these two cameras because unlike in FNaF 1 here, they're useless. To know if the animatronic has already left the door, in Foxy's case, he's located in camera 1C, and you have to keep watching him because if you don't, you'll see him coming out of his stage more and more. If we don't keep an eye on him, he'll come to our office. What we can witness in camera 2A or 4A is that we'll see him running, and if that happens, we have to go and close the door on the side where we saw him. For example, if we see him in 4A, then we close the right door, we'll hear a bang from that direction, and we'll see him leave on the corresponding camera, and then we're only left with Freddy. This is much like the original game. Hearing his laugh means he switched cameras. He, just like Bonnie and Chica, will be in camera 1A and will want to get to camera 2B or 4B to enter the office after that. The difference is we can't see this animatronic with the light, and he'll attack us directly if he gets in. So, because of that, if he's in camera 2B or 4B, you have to close the door on that side as a precaution. And finally, there's an extra animatronic, which I think is the dog. Honestly, I don't remember his name. I think it's Sparky, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, I don't really know who he is, but what's important here is what he causes. Basically, he makes two cameras switch positions. For example, if he switches camera 2A with 1B, when we want to see 1B, we'll have to select camera 2A and vice versa. It can be annoying, yes, but apparently I can't do it twice on the same camera, at least in my experience. And the bad thing is that there's no way to prevent it, or at least not one that the game tells you about. I've gone over the strategies and mechanics of some animatronics and also our tools, so now let's look at the strategies for each night and challenge. Unlike the first FNaF, this game adds interesting nighttime dynamics. 1. Usually, not much happens. If you're lucky, Bonnie or Chica might come to your office, but you just shine your light and close the door. Just like in 5M, a scene will play, but don't worry, it's part of the game. It's like a cutscene, so it won't affect you. Still, keep an eye on the cameras at night. 2. Do things get more interesting? Bonnie and Chica will be more active. So it's vital that you turn on the lights and check cameras 2A, 2B, 4A, and 4B for extra security. Remember that if you want to see if an animatronic has left your door, you have to check camera 2A or 4A depending on the side. After that, you'll be fine for the night. 3. Things get more complicated. Foxy will be the star tonight. The whole event centers around him. It doesn't matter if we watch him or not, Foxy will still leave his stage. The best thing to do is just monitor Foxy. Honestly, the other animatronics aren't that important. Therefore, we need to keep checking cameras 1C, 2A, and 4A. If we see him running, we have to close the door. If we hear a bang or see that Foxy is leaving, we can open it. If we're unsure which side Foxy is coming from, we have to close both doors. We have no other option. I know it's not recommended, since this is the only night we get punished with an overload. But there's no other option, unless you want to take the risk, of course. By 2 AM, the cutscenes will appear, and once the cameras go down, we'll have to stay focused in our office. Shut the door when you see eyes and watch the other side. If eyes appear, close that door and open the other to prevent overload. Until this part ends, we'll see the animatronics come out, then return to our usual routine. If Foxy goes back to his stage, that's a win for us. On night 4, we go back to the classic nights, and nights 5 and 6 will be pretty much the same. There might be a cinematic or two, but nothing that really affects the nights themselves. Although something worth mentioning is that we now have new cameras, but trust me, they're not that important. The strategy is as follows. Turn the lights on and off, check cameras 1A and 1C and repeat, that's the main thing. Turn the lights on and off to avoid Chica or Bonnie. 1A lets you watch Freddy to keep him from moving, and 1C does the same for Foxy. On nights 5 and 6, Freddy will likely come out immediately. So instead of looking at camera 1A, we'll check camera 1B, or whichever one Freddy is on. This way, he won't get any closer, and we won't have to worry about avoiding Freddy. And what happens if Chica or Bonnie come? Simple. We close the door and keep an eye on the side with the open door. And when we check the cameras, we'll add camera 2A or 4A depending on where the animatronic is. Until they leave, then we can open the door and continue with the same strategy. For example, if we have an animatronic on the right, we close the door, go to the left and check cameras 1B, 1C and 4A. We keep doing this until they leave. I know Sparky or another animatronic might switch your camera, but you'll have to deal with it. As far as I know, there's no way to prevent that. But the good thing is that with this strategy, you can win the prizes. The 20,020,020 challenge, which is one of the hardest. Supposedly, I beat it using the same strategy. I beat challenge 1 just by using the lights and watching cameras 2A and 4A. Challenge 2 is just watching cameras 1B and 1C until the night is over. Challenge 3 is to follow the strategy already mentioned, check the lights and watch cameras 1B and 1C with the possibility of adding 2A or 4A as needed. And finally, challenge 4 is just to watch the lights and close the door when necessary and pray, because here you're not allowed to use the cameras, you'll have to rely on the sounds. Normally, Freddy takes a while to arrive, but Foxy can come. So if you hear footsteps, close both doors. There's no other way. You have no way of knowing if Foxy will come from the left or the right. Even so, I recommend my strategy that, like at 4 or 5 Anti-Meridium, you close both doors and start praying. Praying is the solution, and that way, with effort and perseverance, you can get through everything. SNAF in real time. I know the minigames will be missing, but you don't need a guide for that. After all, the SNAF 1 strategy has become standard. It's very useful for this fan game, though it differs. For example, in SNAF 1 you don't need to check camera 2A or 4A. Previously, you could check if an animatronic had left the door simply by turning on the lights. Anyway, if this video helped you, give it a like, subscribe, and share any extra tips if you have them. I'll say goodbye now, but in the meantime, you can watch how to beat SNAF 1, or if not, take a look at my new channel, Ajibeme, where I'll be uploading content that's a bit less about horror, but still about video games. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.